Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. This review is for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 16. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. There was so much drama that went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Ralph and Drew end up getting into a pretty heated argument because he came into the room where she was sitting at, and I feel like he was looking for an argument because he came in there and he started complaining about how tired he was from work, claiming that he's been working extra hard since Drew has been filming the movie. Now, she tells him that she was working hard too because she was filming a movie, so obviously it's a lot more work than people think it is, and he told her that all she was doing was filming sex scenes. So basically, he was reducing the work that she was doing to just sex scenes, and so she wasn't really working hard at all. Now, she ends up getting annoyed by him saying that because to me, it seems like he's always in competition with Drew to see who works harder than the other, and for me, that's extremely weird. Now, she starts questioning him about moving out of their bedroom because while she was filming the movie, Ralph ended up moving into one of the guest rooms, and so she asked him when he's coming back into the bedroom, and he says that he doesn't know. Now, she's done filming the movie at this point. He told her that his reasoning for moving out of the bedroom was because he was trying to sleep and she would come home after filming the movie and wake him up, and so once she was done filming the movie, he was going to move back into the room. And now when she asks him again, he says he doesn't know. Now, for me, once he decided to move out of the bedroom and also decided that he no longer wanted to participate in couples counseling, I would have filed for divorce right then and there. I feel like there's no reason to try to prolong things and try to work things out when he clearly doesn't care to do so. During this conversation, Drew ends up bringing up Courtney because she ends up telling Ralph that she saw the video of Courtney calling her a bitch, and she ends up pulling up the video for Ralph to see. Now, Ralph's reaction really pissed me off because he completely dismissed Drew's feelings. He didn't care about this video at all, and he was basically defending Courtney the entire time. He told Drew that he doesn't understand why she has a problem with Courtney calling her a bitch when other women in the group have called her worse and she's still cool with them. My thing is, the reason why she has more of an issue of Courtney doing it is because Courtney was running around calling Drew her cousin because she's related to Ralph. And you would think that if this woman is related to your husband, that she wouldn't be disrespecting you and talking shit about you to other girls in the group that don't like you. And so I'm just not understanding why he doesn't get why she's more upset about Courtney calling her a bitch. Ralph tells Drew that Courtney didn't do anything offensive to him, so why should he have a problem with her? And my thing is, that's your wife. So if your wife has a problem with her, you should have a problem with her. And my thing is, he could have reacted completely different to this situation, and it wouldn't have escalated to Drew being in tears and them having a full-blown argument. Because he could have told Drew, that was wrong of Courtney to call you a bitch. I don't know why she would refer to you as a bitch because you're my wife and she's supposed to be my cousin, but I will have a conversation with her about it because I really didn't like the way she was talking about you. He could have said that at least, instead of making Drew feel like her feelings weren't valid and sitting there defending Courtney over his wife. Drew ended up storming off in tears after this conversation with Ralph didn't go the way that she wanted it to go because he was invalidating her feelings, and the fact that he sat there and defended Courtney over her is crazy. And then her sister Allison was there while this all took place, and you can tell that she was visibly upset at the fact that Drew was crying because Allison already doesn't like Ralph, and this gave her even more of a reason not to like him. Now, while Drew was crying, Ralph tried to give her a fake hug to try to comfort her, and the thing about it is the time to comfort her would have been before she started crying so that she wouldn't have ever even gotten to this point. So Drew ended up pushing him away, and I feel like she should have pushed him away because why would she want a hug from you after all you just said? Sheree ended up having a conversation with her daughter about what went down at the Sip and See because at the Sip and See, Bob ended up showing up with this girl and he was pulling her into the family picture, and Sheree didn't understand why he was doing that, and so she thought this was a woman that he was dating, but he ended up introducing her as his daughter, which confused Sheree and completely blindsided her because she said that she didn't know that Bob had another daughter and she didn't understand why he has never told her about it. Now, Bob did say during that episode that he has brought her around his children that he has with Sheree before, so they already know who she is. And when Sheree asked her daughter, she said, yes, I've met her before and I've been around her a few times. And yes, she was introduced as my sister. So Sheree's just sitting there confused as to why she's the only one who didn't know about it. But I do think that it's good that she didn't, blame her kids for not telling her, because it wasn't the kids' responsibility to tell Sheree about it. It was Bob's responsibility. Drew and Ralph end up going to a couples counseling session together, and Drew does give him credit for coming because she knows that he really doesn't want to be there. That's the reason why he stopped going in the first place. But he said to the counselor and to Drew that he's been making changes for the better without going to counseling, and Drew's sitting there confused because she's asking him what changes has he made for the better because she hasn't seen them. And if your wife hasn't seen the changes that you're making for the better, then you aren't really making any. The topic of Ralph moving out of their bedroom ends up coming up during this counseling session, and the counselor ends up asking the both of them how they feel about it, and Drew says that she feels alone, and Ralph says that he feels liberated. And right there, based on their responses, I'm just confused as to why Ralph did not file for divorce sooner, because it's been very clear to me since they've been on this show that Ralph doesn't even really like Drew, and he doesn't like being around her. And so I just am so confused as to why he didn't just move out of the house completely and file for a divorce instead of moving into a different room. Like, you really feel liberated being away from your wife? That's weird to me. And then on top of that, he started bringing up weird things like how they like the temperature different in the house, so it's better for the both of them if he sleeps in another room. And it's just so weird. It's like, stop making excuses as to why you don't want to sleep next to your wife and just say you don't want to be in the marriage anymore. Even after this counseling session went really bad, Drew and Ralph ended up showing up to Candy and Todd's event together because Candy and Todd ended up throwing this wrap-up party because they finally finished filming the movie, and Drew is the star of the movie, and that's the reason why she's there. Now, she did say that she was glad that Ralph was able to put his differences aside to show up with her to the event, and claims that he knows how to pretend to be a good husband, and sometimes she wonders who her real husband is because he changes the way he acts depending on who he's around. And that's weird that she said that to me, because if you know he was like that, then why didn't you file for divorce sooner too? Like, I just don't understand why they stayed together this long if they feel so negatively about each other. Now, Candy and Todd ended up inviting all the ladies to this event, and once Allison, who is Drew's sister, ends up seeing Courtney, she immediately ends up going up to her to have some words with her because she feels some type of way about Courtney lying to her about calling Drew a bitch, because Courtney ended up saying that she didn't call Drew a bitch and that she doesn't refer to women that way. And then Allison ends up seeing a video of Courtney doing the exact thing she said she didn't do. Now, Courtney does end up admitting to both Drew and Allison that she was referring to Drew when she said bitch in the video, but she did end up apologizing to Drew about it. Now, in her interview, she said that she only apologized to Drew because she wanted her to shut up about it, not because she was really sorry. And I don't like that, and I have to look at you sideways because I don't like people who give fake apologies. If you're not sorry, don't say you're sorry. Now, despite how well Candy and Todd's party went, all the drama happened after the party was filmed, because all the ladies start getting these alerts on their phones, and it's saying that Drew and Ralph are getting a divorce. And I don't understand why a lot of the ladies were acting like they were shocked, because were we not watching the same show? It was bound to happen, the two of them getting a divorce. I'm surprised they didn't get divorced sooner, because their marriage has been just so terrible. Now, we don't know if it was terrible the whole time, but from what we were able to see from the time they got on this show, their marriage was not good at all. So I was just confused as to why people were acting shocked about it. Now, Sheree and Marlo were kikiing with each other about the situation because it's rumored that Drew was having an affair with Ty, who is Mimi from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's ex-girlfriend or current girlfriend. We don't know because they're always on and off, but that's what's going around. That's the rumor, that the two of them were messing around with each other. And Ty was on the set of Candy's movie a lot because she was friends with Drew's co-star, and Drew also had her as a guest at the event that Candy and Todd did. During this episode, Drew and Ralph end up doing separate interviews, and Ralph says during his interview that his lawyer told him not to say anything about the divorce, but he did say that he can say that Drew and Ty have a really close friendship, and he put friendship in quotes, basically trying to imply that they're something more than friends. My thing is, I don't understand why he's trying to make it such a big deal that Drew allegedly was messing around with Ty while she was filming Candy's movie, because at the end of the day, we know that he's had inappropriate relationships with other women as well, because Drew said this plenty of times, and then we obviously saw the text messages between him and his old assistant that he had that was really inappropriate when they first got on the show, and then when he disappeared for a few days and Drew didn't know where he was, and then on top of that, he ended up getting invited to Las Vegas by another woman, and he ended up going while Drew was on the trip to Portugal. So it's not like he's innocent in their relationship, and it's not like he's never cheated before either. During Drew's interview, she ended up saying that the reason why she filed for a divorce is because their marriage just wasn't getting any better, which we were able to see throughout the show that the marriage was not getting any better, and it seemed like she was the only one that was trying to work on it, and he was uninterested in working on it at all. She said that after she was done filming the movie, he never moved back into their bedroom, but he claimed during his interview that after Candy and Todd's party, he moved back into the room. I don't believe him when he says that. He said that he was so liberated to not be sleeping in the same room as her that I absolutely do not believe that he moved back in that room after that party was over. At the very end of this episode, Courtney and Monyetta did some really shady interviews about Drew, and I was really surprised about Monyetta because I thought Monyetta and Drew were really building a friendship, and I thought that they were cool with each other. But this is why you never know who you can trust, because Monyetta threw Drew completely under the bus, and everything that she said in this interview basically helps Ralph out when it comes to the divorce. She said that when her and Drew were on the set of Candy and Todd's movie, Drew came up to her and told her that if it doesn't work out between her and Ralph, she's going to go mess around with her crush. And she said that her crush was Ty. So I'm just confused as to why Monyetta would throw Drew under the bus like that. Because even if Drew did tell her something like that, I don't feel like that was something that Monyetta had to come out and say publicly. That was really shady of her. And then Courtney does an interview, and obviously she doesn't like Drew and never did like Drew, and she's on Ralph's side because that's supposedly her cousin. And she was sitting there trying to say that she saw messages proving that Ty and Drew have been messing around with each other. I don't know how she got that information. And then she sat there and she said that now she knows why Drew was pushing so hard for Ralph to adopt her son, because she wanted to be able to collect child support and get her bills paid while she can lay up with her lesbian lover. That was crazy that she said something like that. Like, what the hell? Like, why would she come out and say some stuff like that? I feel like Ralph has really been gossiping with Courtney about Drew, and he's using Courtney to put all these negative things about Drew out on the show so that it benefits him when it comes to the divorce. Sonia also had some really sad news at the very end of this episode. She said that her pregnancy ended up ending in a miscarriage. Now, we know that she's pregnant right now, but before this pregnancy, she had the pregnancy that was on the show, and she ended up having a miscarriage, and she was really emotional about it. And she said that her son was really emotional about it because he really wanted to have a baby sister. And this is why you don't tell people about your pregnancy until you're in the safe zone. You have to wait a while, and even doctors will encourage you to wait until you're really in the safe zone before you tell people about your pregnancy. And so I hope that this time, since she's pregnant right now, that she really waited to tell people, especially her really young son. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.